everybody? This is Tashi Stallion, and I'm closing off my One Piece 20th anniversary celebration by counting down my top 10 moments of the One Piece series. Now, I kind of wanted to do a top 20 moments of One Piece because there's 20-year anniversary, 20 moments, but that video would have been way too long, and I don't know, I just couldn't think of how to rank like these 20 ones. Like, oh, what would 14 be? What would 13 be, you know? And when you're getting that low, it's kind of hard to rank it. But I do want to preface this video with saying that there were a few moments that I had to leave out because I could only choose 10. A lot of really popular scenes from the series had to get left out. One notable one being this guy right here, his big moment, that's Zoro if you can't see, his big moment at the end of Thriller Bark, one of my all-time favorite scenes in the whole series, but just couldn't crack the top 10. But without further ado, let's take a look at the top 10 moments in One Piece. Now, number 10, as you just saw, I'm going to start out with the finale of my number one favorite arc in the series, and that is Jaya. And I'm just going to come out and say that this is probably the scene in the series that best exemplifies Nami's worth to the crew. I mean, look, these guys would be fucking dead if it wasn't for her when they're going up this knock-up stream. All they hear about on the island from Cricket is that, yeah, there's going to be a stream, we go sail to it, we go up into the sky, and then we're there. No one thought of the logistics of it. And once they're there, Nami had to do some quick thinking on her feet, steer the crew in the right direction, sail them up the knock-up stream, and once they do, they are literally flying up the stream. And now this is why I love this moment so much, because it's just so, it's so fantastical. I mean, come on, like they're literally flying up into the sky to go in probably one of the most like fantasy adventures of the whole series. So yeah, I always really like this moment a lot. Again, finale of my favorite arc. It's a good punch to the end of the arc. Gets you excited for the next arc. And that's why I'm going to have it at number 10. Not too high, but again, one of my favorite moments in the series. Alright, coming to number 9, we're pretty firmly ensconced in the Jaya Skypiea stuff so far. My number 9 moment of the series is Luffy stretching out and reaching that golden bell at the end of Skypiea. The finale of Skypiea, basically. Alright, I'm coming back in to splice in this little amendment or addendum. Basically, what I forgot to mention was that the Luffy ringing the golden bell and the whole thing with the golden bell and even the Cricket storyline in general all ties back to this flashback that we got in the arc with Noland and Kalgara. And a lot of people, a lot of fans of One Piece have really given this flashback a lot of negative criticism, saying it was unnecessary, that it just ruined the pace of the arc, and basically that the flashback just didn't fit within the arc. But Luffy ringing the bell really brings that flashback into the present, and it gives it a really nice payoff. And it kind of just caps off the entire storyline, not just the storyline of Skypiea itself, the Straw Hat's adventure in Skypiea, that is, but the whole story of Noland and the people, the Shandians, that's what they're called, the Shandians and their whole civilization and them going into the sky and everything. It really capped off that entire storyline, which I think was honestly masterful writing by Ichiro Oda. This was a moment that surprised me a lot in my first read through the manga, because I had already watched the anime, I already knew what was up, but you know, I'm just going to show the panel. So this panel right here, this one right here with Cricket, yeah, that got me a little choked up. And that's when I knew that Skypiea was such a great arc. Because if this arc is really going to make me care about a character that, like, look, we haven't seen him again since, we're probably not going to ever see this guy again. Cricket, like, he's such a minor character. When the arc is getting me to feel for this guy with this impactful moment with Luffy ringing the bell, God, I knew it was a good arc, and it's all because of that moment with the bell. It's, I don't know, Luffy, it's so great. Like, Luffy didn't even know why he had to ring the bell, but, like, that's Luffy's character. He's just like, I don't know why I gotta do this, but I'm gonna do it anyways, and he does it, and everything works out, and it's a great moment in the show. and in the manga, especially in the manga, like I was just saying. So yeah, that's my number 9 moment, and I promise from here on out, it's gonna get better. Trust me. Alright, my number 8 moment's going to take us into the New World, and it is the Conquerors King Haki clash between Luffy and Doflamingo at the end of the Dressrosa arc. And I'm going to be real here, the anime does this scene very well, making it like just seem very impactful, like an epic moment of the series. But the only reason why this ranks on my top 10 is because of how the manga handled it. So like in the manga, you got Law just on the ground, just like, fuck, you know, just like his whole life's mission basically up to this point has come just fucking it. He failed, like utterly failed. He's on the ground. He's cursing himself. And the one guy that he just despises more than anyone else, the one guy he wanted to take down, is going to be the one that kills him. So this is the stakes you got in the manga. You flip the page, and you just see this panel, Luffy coming up, and just putting his foot right there to block Doflamingo's foot. And that's really the moment that I'm putting on this top 10. It's not necessarily the hockey clash, even though that's what all the fans refer to the scene as. It's really that panel of Luffy just putting his foot out. And I like this so much because just this one panel just shows a major difference between Luffy and Doflamingo's character. Like, Doflamingo's the kind of guy that's like, alright, like, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want, you know, and no one's going to get in my way because I'm that strong, unless it's Kaido, but no one's going to get in my way because I'm that strong, and no one's going to dare to oppose me. And that's like a major thread running through Dressrosa. Like, this guy just marches in, takes over the country, and now he's the king, and everyone's got to bow down to his will. But not Luffy, and that's what makes Luffy just such a fucking awesome hero, because everyone in this country is bowing down to this guy, and he got whatever the fuck he wanted. And not even just with Dressrosa, like, this guy grew up thinking he was a god, so he's not used to someone getting in his way and telling him, like, hey, fuck off, like, no, you're not gonna do that. So when Luffy just does it, like, god, fucking brass pair of balls right there on Luffy, like, sticking up for his friend. Yeah, it's both of them right here. I don't even know why I'm just pointing to Luffy, it's fucking both of them. They're both in this fucking scene. But anyways, yeah, great scene. Heroic moment by Luffy. Just a very impactful panel to me. Like, I look at that panel and I just get chills. It's because of this guy right here. It's just because of fucking this guy. Just being such a champ. So that's why that's my number 8 moment.
よっしゃ、偉大なる海に船を浮かべる進水式でもやるか。おお、いいぞ、やりましょう。俺はオールブルーを見つけるために。俺は海賊王。俺は大剣豪。私は世界地図を書くために。俺は豊かなる海の戦士になるためだ。
Number 7 is a classic moment of the series. This comes from chapter 100, and it's the crew entering the Grand Line. It's just the little touches in this moment that get to me. Like, you don't have to have everyone in the crew put their foot on a barrel as they proclaim their dream as they go into the Grand Line, but like, we get a great visual of all of them in a circle, their foot on the same barrel, and just stating their dream. And like, this is a new beginning to the series, basically. Like, they're going to a whole new place. We already know their dreams. They're restating their dreams. They've got more conviction. They've got more commitment. And they're ready to start this brand new adventure. It's only been 100 chapters, and in the grand scheme of things, like, that's not too much because the series is nearing in on 900 chapters. But it just felt like we had been with these characters for a long time at this point, and we got to know them really well. So it was just fucking awesome to see that, yeah, we've been through a lot of stuff right now, but like, this is just the beginning. And yeah, this is why it's one of my top 10 moments. Always love this scene a lot. Great visual, of course. And yeah, it's my number 7 pick. Alright, number 6 is the Brook scene, the whole final scene. And, end of Thriller Bark, let me just say, a little sidetrack, what a fucking great, like, string of 20 or so chapters. Like, Thriller Bark as a whole, not so great. The end of it, though, oh my god, fantastic. So anyways, let's get back to the Brook scene, and it's not the flashback. I mean, I do love the flashback a lot, but the scene that gets me the most is Brook at the piano, and that part of the flashback where he's flashing back to everyone's death. He's playing Binks's brew or Binks sake on the piano. He's remembering everything. Oh god, it's just such a tragic moment. And yeah, and for this one, I'm gonna say that the anime really brought this scene to life. That's not a knock against the manga, but like, since there's a big song like that's running through this moment, like, you can't really have that in the manga and have the same effect as me actually listening to the song and hearing Brook sing it, and just like the tone in his voice and just the tears coming down his eyes, and then Luffy coming up and telling him that he knows Laboon and all of that. Oh my god, just a heartwarming moment. Really makes me happy, not necessarily happy because he's watching, it's a sad moment, his crew's dying, but like happy just that like this guy's suffering was not in vain. He's gonna eventually meet up with Laboon again, and that's very heartwarming, I gotta admit. So it kind of is a happy moment at the end of the day. Like, put all that shit that happened in the past aside. Like, I am a new man, I am resurrected. He's fucking dead, but yeah, no, he's basically a new man from this point, and he's got a purpose in his life now. After spending 50 years stranded on a boat, he's finally got a purpose. So that's a very sad and tragic story, but at the same time, very heartwarming. And that's the kind of stuff I love out of One Piece, when they can take the tragic and then make it heartwarming in the end. A lot more of that's about to come up. But yeah, that's my number 6 moment.
俺はいつかこの一味にも負けない仲間を集めて世界一の財宝を見つけて絶対なってやる海賊王に。
ほう、俺たちを超えるか。じゃあこの帽子をお前に預ける。俺の大切な帽子だ。大事にしろよ。いつかきっと返しに来い。立派な海賊になってな。約束だぞ、ルフィ。
Alright, number 5, and this is where it's going to start to get really, really good. And for this one, I'm going to flat out say you'd be hard-pressed to find an earlier moment in the series than this one to put on a top 10 list. Like, this is almost as early as you can get. Chapter 1. This is in Chapter 1, and it's Luffy getting the straw hat from Shanks. I'm going to refrain from saying this in any of the other moments because it'd just be easy to say like, oh, I love this. Like, this scene is so One Piece. This is One Piece. Because this scene is One Piece, and I don't want to take that away from this scene at all. So I'm not going to say it for any of the other scenes. This scene right here, this Chapter 1 scene that I keep pointing back to that you can't see, and I look like a dumbass, but yeah, this scene right here is One Piece. Like, this is the series in a nutshell. Like, this is the crux of the story, pretty much. This is like the origin of the story. You look at the story like, wow, where did One Piece start? And this is the first moment. Well, this kid named Luffy got a straw hat from a guy named Shanks. It's just so fucking cool to look back at it, read back at this chapter, seeing Shanks put the straw hat on him and the tears going down his eyes, knowing that the adventure that this moment kicks off just makes it even more powerful. Like, the moment itself, if you just read it on its own, you'd be like, yeah, what the fuck's a big deal? But if you read the whole series and then you come back to that moment, yeah, it's kind of hard not putting it on a favorite moments list, because, like, it's just so important to the story as a whole. So yeah, that's my number 5.
Luffy. 何よ。何も知らないくせに。8年間この島で何があったのか知らないくせに。
ああ、知らね
あんたには関係ないから。島から出てきって言ったでしょ。
え。ああ、言われた。
出てけ！あんたなんか出てけ出てけ出てけ出てけ出てけ出てけ出てけ出てけ。
All right, number 4. Now, in my read through of the manga, this was the very first scene that got me, like, you know, really, really choked up. And this is the Nami scene with Luffy at Arlong Park. Luffy putting the straw... A lot of my scenes got this straw hat. Someone putting a straw hat on another person's head, but Luffy putting the straw hat on Nami's head, walking away and just like, I'm gonna kick this guy's fucking ass. Yeah, a lot of people are gonna put the scene that comes after this on their top moment scene. And that'd be like the march to Arlong Park, when they're actually walking there. It's Zoro and it's Luffy and Sanji and Usopp's there too. And they're all fucking badass walking there and they're like, yeah, we're gonna kick this guy's fucking ass for what they did to our friend Nami. And yeah, that's a great moment in the show. I'm not gonna discount it at all, but that's really like an anime moment for the most part, because it's the music, like Overtaken comes on for the first time, and it's just such a powerful moment. I don't know, for me this moment's always just been a little bit more powerful. Even in the anime, I still feel like this is the more powerful moment to me, because it's just so personal. It's one of the first like really personal moments of the series, between two of the main characters, like Luffy and Nami. Like, we got a lot of sad and tragic stories and like backstories. Like Sanji's was pretty sad, and we just got through Nami's story, which is pretty sad. But like, we hadn't had like a moment like this before that was just between two characters in the present time, and they're just having like almost a heart-to-heart moment. I don't know, you just really see like the desperation in Nami. You see the conviction in Luffy to help out his friend. Putting on the straw hat is just on Nami. Like, oh my god, that's just such a good touch. It's like I said with the whole barrel thing with the Grand Line, just unnecessary. Like, you know, they don't have, or Oda doesn't have to do that. She doesn't have to have that part of the story. Luffy could just be like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking beat his ass. But like, just the fact that he does put in that little touch, like, just makes this moment that much better. Like, just that much better. And this is another moment I kind of want to show in the manga. I just showed the anime clip, but the manga is like, this is where the scene really got me. Like, I had already watched the anime, but look, it's just so gruesome. Like, you're getting her stabbing herself, and Luffy doesn't even know what Nami went through in her past. He wasn't listening to the story, but he could just look at her and he can tell. And this is the part that gets me. This next page. I was not ready for this. I had already watched the whole series, but I was not ready to flip the page and just see that. Like, oh my god. Like, that's what got me, especially. Just this panel right here is one of the best panels in the whole series, in my opinion. And yeah, him putting the straw hat on, all fucking fantastic stuff. And that's my number 4, I believe. Yeah, number 4. is one of the standout moments from my first watch through of the show. These little touches, man. I've been talking about them all video, but these little touches. You don't need to end the arc with this. You could just have the Straw Hats go to Vivi. They have their tearful goodbye. They share hugs. The Straw Hats go on their way, and now Vivi's the acting princess of Alabasta. That could have been what this arc ended with, and honestly, that wouldn't have been a bad ending. Ending it with that scene, them putting their arms in the air with the X on it, just, first of all, huge payoff for them even putting the X on it. Secondly, like, yeah, it makes sense. The situation they were in, they couldn't talk to her, so they had to give a visual. And just, oh my god. And in the manga too, with that double page spread of them just all with their arms in the air. Fucking fantastic stuff. And like I said, in the anime, done so well. They have We Are in this scene. I think it's one of the first times that We Are appears in the anime. Another time it appears is in my number 10 scene in the knock-up stream, which is one of the reasons I like it a lot. Like, when We Are shows up in the anime, like, in the show, you know it's a fucking good moment. This one does not disappoint. Arms in the air, getting chased down by the Navy, getting shot at by the Navy, and no, like, they're just gonna take it as it goes. We're gonna get out of here. We know we're gonna get out of here, but we gotta say our goodbye to our friend. And like I said, just a fantastic moment. Another great closer to an arc. Just puts a nice punch, like the bell does. Just puts a nice cap on the arc and the knock-up stream. I like a lot of these arc closers, apparently. It was unexpected, too. I'm not gonna lie. Like, who the fuck could have expected that? No one's gonna be like, oh yeah, at the end of the arc, they're gonna be sailing away while getting shot at by the Navy. They're gonna put their arms up to say goodbye to their friend Vivi. Like, when she thinks that they forgot about her. Like, fuck no, no one's gonna expect that. And that's why I like it so much, because it just comes out of nowhere. It's a nice little touch that, honestly, like, didn't have to happen, like I said. And it just gets the job done so much more effectively. They don't have to speak a single word, and we all know what's going on. So yeah, it's my number 3 moment. We're about to get some really good stuff here with 2 and 1.
Robin! まだ前の口から聞いてね行きたいとイエーイロビンロビン生きる
お前はこの世に生きてちゃいけねえんだロビン貴様の存在そのものが大罪なんだロビン
望んではいけないことだと思ってた誰もそれを許してくれなかった私は死にたいのよ
海は広いんだでいつか必ずお前を守ってくれる仲間が現れるルフィを信じろ
もし本当に少しだけ望みを言っていいのなら私は生きたい私も一緒に海へ連れてって
Alright, up to number 2. And what is there to be said about one of the most cherished and beloved moments in the series? Just the culmination of so much tension and tragedy that was woven into the whole story from Nico Robin's introduction. Finally leading up to this moment, this just emotional burst. Which is probably one of the most emotional moments in the story. Now let's recall the whole story of Nico Robin. She's introduced in the story as like a villain with Baroque work. She's a member of the team. She's the second ranking member of this team. So you're expecting that she's going to get one of the biggest fights at the end of this arc. She's going to get her fucking ass kicked. She's going to be thrown aside. We never see her again, and that's it. But no, she lives, doesn't really get in too many major fights in the arc. She lives to the end, and through the actions, you can kind of see that she's got more depth to her character. A lot more depth than a character that wouldn't appear in the rest of the series would have. You just see this character like, damn, like she's probably going to keep coming up. A lot of people didn't expect that she wasn't just going to recur throughout the series at some point. Like she was going to be there right then and there. So right after the arc, she just barges into the crew and says, hey, like, I'm joining the crew. So the audience probably just looking at that like, all right, like no one asked you to join the crew, so what the fuck is this? But, you know, slowly over time, we get used to her character. We see that she's really smart, she's clever. You know, she's just like a really sophisticated person. And it's just like a good balance to Straw Hats, who are really energetic and wacky and excited and all that shit. She's very reserved and calm. Kind of like an adult on the crew. And it's really neat to see that and to see how she interacts with the crew. Like, she's very reserved at first. And it makes you wonder what's going on. Like, what the fuck? She kind of warms up to the crew a little bit, but, you know, you could tell that there was something wrong, and that all comes to a head in Water 7, where we find out that something is wrong. Now, we don't exactly find out what that is, but this is where the tension starts to build with her character, and you're thinking, man, like, is she really going to be on the crew or what? Like, what's going on with this character? It's just been a roller coaster so far, and it just seems to continue. And then we get the most tragic backstory of any character in the story of One Piece. Trafalgar Law, kind of close. Some people would argue his is more, but yeah, it's probably one of the two, Law or Robin. So yeah, Robin gets this fucking ridiculously tragic backstory, and then we finally get the characters, Luffy, the Straw Hats, everyone who went through this whole gauntlet of fighting in Eni's lobby. We finally get them and Robin confronting each other at the opposite ends of, like, they're on top of buildings. So it's just like a really awesome setting for this. Luffy has Usopp shoot down a flag, which is just another great part of this moment. You know, it doesn't make the moment, like this moment itself wouldn't be in the top 10, but like just the fact that the Straw Hats are showing it, like, yeah, we fucking mean business now. Like, that's fucking cool. Yeah, the tension just continues to rise. It continues to rise. It's building, it's building, it's building. We know her backstory, how tragic it is. She lost everyone on her island. And now we know why she keeps saying she wants to die, that she basically just thinks she's worthless. Like, yeah, like, do whatever you want with me. If you want this info, fine, I'll give it to you. Just don't hurt my friends. Like, you can kill me if you want. We finally understand why she's saying that. But Luffy, no, he didn't want to fucking hear that. He didn't know her backstory, but he also, again, just with Nami, doesn't care. He sees her as a friend, and he's not going to let her die. No matter who is in the way, he's not going to let her die. So he demands her to say she wants to live, and it finally happens, and tears are coming down her eyes, and that's just the turning point for her whole character. Everything before that, very reserved, didn't really warm up to the Straw Hats completely, had other stuff on her mind, didn't really see a future with the crew. After this, yep, she's a Straw Hat through and through, and she's going to fully pursue her dreams with the Straw Hats. Finally, again, like Brook, just like gets a little bit more meaning to her life. And we see that all happen in one expression, and it's fucking fantastic. That's, I don't even have to say this. This is one of the most beloved moments of the series. Everybody loves it, but it's my number 2 moment of the series, and number 1 is...
空島はあるぜ。ここのチェリーパイはやっぱり最高だ。
あんた、さっきの。
何を悔しがるんだ、姉ちゃん。今の戦いはそいつらの勝ちだぜ。
え？
おお、俺たちを超えるか。次に会う時は海賊の高みだ。
おめえの単価も大したもんだったぞ。肝っ玉の座った女だ。ぜはははは。
ルフィ。
あいつらの言う新時代ってのはクソだ。海賊が夢を見る時代が終わるって？おい！なんだ人の夢は終わらねえ！
Alright, I'll admit, admit, this is probably not a lot of people's number one moment of the series. And I've been saying this like a fucking broken record the whole video, so you only have to hear it one more time. But it's those little touches in the series that I love. And these little touches that aren't necessary, like I said, with the crew putting their feet on the barrel, which is a minor example of this. More major example would be the crew raising up their arms with the X sign at the end of Alabasta. Unnecessary moment, like I said, but makes it that much more impactful because it happens. Now this one is also kind of like an unnecessary moment. Like, Oda could have had Luffy encounter Blackbeard for the first time in a much different manner. And why this is important is because, like, Blackbeard's probably going to be the final villain of the series, let's be real. So this is Oda basically saying, this is my main hero encountering the main villain of the series for the first time. And it could have been in the more traditional manner, like, oh, they meet up and they're like, oh, this is Blackbeard, and you could just tell, yeah, he's going to be a fucking big evil guy, or he's like, I don't know, he's in a village and he's like fucking killing people or some shit. I don't know. It could have been a more traditional manner, but no, you sit them down first and then you have them arguing about cherry pie. Now this isn't the moment that's my number one, but like, you know, it's good context for this moment because you already see that these two just naturally don't get along. But then you walk out, Luffy's just gotten beaten up with Zoro. He gets up, you walk out, and then this guy, the same guy that was arguing about cherry pie, is sitting down and basically saying everything that we've been led to believe that Luffy believes in this series. That, yeah, people's dreams are real. You know, people's dreams are important. The dreams of pirates, basically, he says, are not going to end. Luffy could just argue with him. He could have said his piece and walked away, but no. Just fucking stares him down. It's like what's going through his head is really left up to the viewer's interpretation. And I feel like this is one of the only scenes in One Piece that's of this nature because everything's usually pretty clear cut. Further than that, for a shonen manga to depict a scene like this where the main character just has some restraint in a situation like this, where usually they're just going to speak exactly what's going through their mind, because, you know, shonens aren't known for complex storytelling techniques. It's usually very simple storytelling techniques, and the easiest thing to do in a situation like this where you're pitting a main character with a character that's eventually going to become an antagonist in the series is to have them have like a little argument of sorts, just to like kick things off in a sense. And I feel like that's what frustrated me so much when I originally watched this scene in the anime, is that I didn't understand why Luffy was just looking at him, and I really wanted Luffy to speak out and just argue with this guy. I wanted them to have a fight with their words. But when I look back at the scene, like, I feel like this, him just saying nothing, honestly, is a lot more effective. As the audience, we don't know that this character is going to become a major villain in the series, or maybe the major villain in the series. And everything he's saying, like the Sky Island exists, and the thing about people's dreams, everything that's coming out of his mouth would not suggest that. Like, that sounds like stuff a hero would say, because he's on the side of Luffy pretty much on both of those things. The only thing that cues us in that this guy's going to become a major villain is that Luffy obviously looks a little perturbed by him. He's just looking at him, and you can kind of infer that maybe he's thinking something bad about him, like he's hesitant, and so he's put off by him in a sense. And that's the only thing that's cueing the audience in that something's off about Blackbeard, is that it's Luffy's reaction. And I don't feel like anything Luffy could have said would have been as effective, because Luffy could have just argued with this guy and then the audience would be thinking, like, why are you arguing with him? Like, what do you see in him that we can't see? Because what he's saying is pretty clearly on your side. So yeah, Luffy's probably looking at this guy thinking like, hey, like, I know I'm going to become the king of the pirates in my heart, but, you know, a guy like that thinks the same as me but is obviously like different than me. We got into an argument in the bar. Like, the only person that I really, or he really feels that could oppose him maybe is someone that thinks on the same wavelength as him. Yeah, that's why Luffy's just staring him down, like, doesn't even know what to think himself, but at the same time, just like, he's looking into the eyes of someone that he probably knows at this point, like, yeah, I'm probably gonna be seeing more of this guy in the future. And he does see more of this guy in the future. They meet up in Impel Down. And at that point, he really knows that his original assessment of Blackbeard in this scene is probably valid. I mean, to me, one of the things that this moment does incredibly well is just giving a distinction between two types of villains within the One Piece series that show up in this arc. Like, you get the fucking piece of shit kind of guy like Bellamy that's just gonna, you know, beat Luffy's ass, like, for saying something that he disagrees with. You know, the series kind of paints a guy like this as just worthless. People are going to disagree with you, you know, that you might even get into a fight because of it. But, like, how Luffy shows in the bar scene, he's just like, just fucking take the punches. It's no big deal, walk away, and that's it. Blackbeard, everybody in this town, first of all, is telling Luffy that the Sky Island is a fucking load of shit. They're like, yeah, get the fuck out of here with that fairy tale. Now, Blackbeard, which is, again, the guy who's going to be the main villain of the series, is the only guy in the town that's just like, yeah, Sky Island's real. For sure it's real. You know, the series is almost at that point saying, like, you know, the types of villains that are probably more threatening and more dangerous are the guys that believe the same things as you, but just interpret them or go about them differently, like how Blackbeard and Luffy are. But again, just the great touches of this scene, Luffy staring down Blackbeard, Blackbeard giving a speech that almost like sums up the themes, a lot of the themes of One Piece. And that's coming from the mouth of the villain. Yeah, I don't think we're ever gonna, or I'm ever gonna read a story in my life that introduces the main antagonist in a manner like this, especially introducing him with the main protagonist in the scene, and this is how it's done. It's just, I don't know, it's a scene I've always loved. The anime does it really well too, with the music and just the way Luffy looks in the anime, and it's my number one scene of the series, and I probably didn't do a good job justifying that, but yeah. Alright, so those are my top 10 moments of One Piece. Probably a different list than most people's, but these are the moments that came to my mind when I was thinking, like, what are the moments that impacted me the most? So those are the ones I wanted to put down. But again, a lot of really fucking sick moments I left out. No fights on my list. I might do another list somewhere down the road, best fights, but, like, I don't know, a fight is just such a protracted thing to me. It's not really like a moment. Like, I'm looking more for, like, singular moments, like at most 2 to 3 minutes. But yeah, that's why I don't have any fights or any of the big action parts of the series. But yeah, love celebrating the 20th anniversary of One Piece. It's a fucking fantastic series. The whole Cake Island arc is coming to an end, and I can't wait to review that. Still got years more to come with this series, and I'm excited to see more moments in the future that could possibly land in my top 10. So yeah, this is Tashi Stallion signing out on another video, and everybody have a great day. And let's just continue reading this series, watching this series, and having a great time. It's been 20 years. I've not been here for the full 20, but I've loved what I've been a part of so far. So yes, thanks for watching, and have a great day.